guys, it's Meri.
And Emma.
We want you guys to like,
subscribe,
share,
and comment
down below because today we are going to be reviewing season 13, episode 2. Yes, you guys, what we're going to get right into is from Christy, the other catfishing victim, coming to basically Meri kind of finalizing this whole bed and breakfast thing. There was a lot going on this season. But we're going to first start with Christy. She basically came or whatever. I think Meri had kind of convinced Mariah to meet her friend if she decided to go to a gay bar.
Yeah, but first they had a dinner with the family.
They did. She had a separate dinner with the adults first,
where Kody was asking her all kinds of questions like, "Where did you and Meri meet?" And Meri told Chrissy, "Oh, he's trying to compare our answers, or whatever." I guess insinuating that he thought that she was lying. So then he was just asking questions. He asked her, when did she stop feeling ashamed about this whole thing? He asked her all the stuff that the catfisher had done. So she was explaining the story, which was so wild to me because she said, I mean, it's the same thing with Meri.
She must have been in real
meeting
deep.
someone who is online, and one day I gotta tell you all my catfishing story if you want to hear that. I think one of my stories that I said I was going to tell.
Yeah, you have 2 more stories you have to tell.
Okay, but you're being catfished, right? You never see the person. But my thing is, the person says, I have a best friend that I want you to go meet. This best friend is near where you live or whatever. For this girl, Chrissy, the best friend was supposedly having surgery, right? And the friend needed to take care of the best friend, but he was not going to be available. The catfisher was not going to be available. So he said, you should take care of this, my friend. Let her come to your home and help her during this, recuperation from the surgery.
I would not have done it.
And so she said one day she comes home and she's smelling like ketchup. And she looks over and she could have sworn it's like ketchup like on the shirt of this woman. And that's when she started thinking, this person is playing games. And so she left the person in the house. Like, I don't know how you meet this best friend who you never...
Well, maybe because you're thinking she's crazy, she's insane. Let me not go and start anything where she tries to come and turn on me.
But
I would be a little scared. I would walk outside and call the police. I have an intruder.
I can see, having been catfished before, I can see how... like someone else who has not been catfished will say, well, why would you even go meet with a best friend? But if you have kind of like invested time in this person you've been talking to online,
right,
and they say they have a best friend, just anything that kind of ties him, with a physical person that you can see and talk to, you're going to go for that. But my whole thing is, though, I don't know if I'll bring them to my house.
I would not do that. Like, I don't know how,
especially if I have children. I think for me, that's where I kind of will draw the line because I just don't want, to put my kids at risk.
My thing is, I don't know how you say this person that you have never met, you have never seen online, they come and tell you go and take.
You see the pictures online.
That's not. I'm talking about a FaceTime, a Zoom call. I'm talking phone call, whatever. But I need to see you to know you're real.
Exactly.
Not some woman on the other side.
Yeah.
But my thing is, even if he's saying, I have this friend and I need to take care of her, whatever. I'm gonna be like, why the FUCK can't you go and take care of her?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not taking care of her. I don't know her. I don't even know you. I haven't even seen you. I haven't gotten a voice call. I haven't gotten a video. Nothing.
Like, I don't.
Like, I'm not a nurse. I'm not doing that. There's a stranger gonna be in my house?
Yeah.
That's the dumbest shit I done ever heard in my life.
Well, it happened to this lady, and so she was saying it, and then Kody, he's with the wives, and he's like, oh my God, this is so dirty. It's just so dirty. I need to go take a shower. Which reminded me of that, put a ring on it, when the guy told
her to go take a shower because she went on a date.
And because she took flowers from some other guy.
Basically slut shaming.
Yeah, so when he said so, I just felt like that's what he was doing with Meri. And then he starts yelling at Meri like, tell me, what did this catfisher say to you? Like, what insults did they do? Like, why were they yelling at you? Like, but he was yelling at her until like Robin and Christine
abuse
had
victim
to be like,
syndrome.
yeah. And then Meri was just looking at him. She was shocked by his aggressiveness. And then she started to cry. And then he calmed down. So he calmed down in front of the camera, but I just wondered to myself, how did he treat her with this whole catfishing? I mean, we saw him trying to be understanding, but how did he really treat
That was
Meri one-on-one after that whole catfishing stuff? Because that was another side of Kody that I saw. Like, he was really, like, yelling.
Wow, I didn't see that.
You know, and I was just like, so even though he's telling her, you need to get over this catfishing thing, he's not over it. Because why are you still so angry? And so Christy was telling him about, he was asking, well, how did your family treat you and whatever? And she was like, my father was really great. And Kody was like, oh, I really want to hear about what your father did. And so she said, well, my father was not judgmental. He'll come in the room and rub my back and just comfort me. He wasn't angry like you're angry.
Yeah, she called him out.
And she said so to him. And I think Meri obviously has talked to her.
Obviously.
So she standing up for her friend, But then in the confessional, this man just tell a big fat lie. Well, even her father, okay, was like getting on her and letting her know she got to get it together. And that's not true. Like he lies also. And it's not true. Like when he lied, he made this big old lie and said, when Pleaks, polygamous family are having these weddings, sometimes you don't even have time to kiss the bride. I mean, when I had my wedding with Robin, I mean, I didn't have time to really be with her or to even kiss her. And then we see the photo of them dancing. He said, and I didn't even get to dance with her. Then we see them having a whole dance and lips together. I was just like, this man just lies also. It's not about him forgetting. One, he has selective hearing, and he straight up lies.
Yeah.
The same thing with Christine that we saw on season 17. Telling her, I never said that. I mean, he said that many times. Like, I never said, on 2 occasions, tell her, I never said that. I don't remember that I said that. And you can't believe him because I'm seeing him lying in situations that you don't even need to make up a story about, So anyway,
there's just no limit to the degeneracy of Kody Brown.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no limit.
And like we said, we have been seeing this man looking very haggard
and
looking
disheveled,
very depressed.
No, he's losing control of the wives,
and he also his favorite wife.
Yeah.
Well, and then he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to, be there.
Did you see that?
I don't look deeply at what birds have in their beak. I don't be looking for the birds and what they have in their beak because it might traumatize me. So I don't want to know.
There was a dead animal in that crow's mouth, as it flew across from us.
That did not look like a crow. It really looked like a parrot, but the beak was like that. It didn't look like a crow at all.
No, but the crow's beaks are a little curved here.
Yeah, that one
slightly.
Did not look like a crow.
It was black though.
It wasn't totally black. It had white and gray in the face.
I don't know. It has something. It has some live creature there, and I saw the legs going like this. I said,
it's on for a ride now, but. But yeah, so anyhow, they went on a family picnic, which seemed to be a lot of fun. And Kody and Meri kept on trying to move where they had laid everything for their picnic because they're like, oh, there's too much duck poop here. Let's go move here. So Christine got so tired of that. And then Meri was like, oh, let's go here. She said, if you do that, I'm going to tackle you. And then Meri went to do it, and Christine ran behind her
and actually tackled her to the ground.
I tackled her to the ground. That was hilarious. But Meri is fast.
Yeah,
that woman was gone.
And Christine was strong. She's like, she was already stumbling anyway. I just helped her on her trip down. I was like, okay, Christine.
Yeah, well, because Meri stumbled, because if she had not stumbled, she would not have caught her.
No, not at all.
Meri was so fast. Like, everybody was like, what's going on? And see these women tackling themselves to the ground. So that was funny. Anyhow, Chrissy went ahead and spoke to Mariah and Audrey about, Meri was hoping if Chrissy validates her story about the catfish, Mariah will have more empathy and forgive her. The thing is, Meri, I've not heard you yet say sorry to Mariah. The other thing, Mariah kept on telling you you're being catfish, you didn't listen. You continued this inappropriate talking to some guy and him telling you he loves you, all that stuff. So, like Mariah said, you're not really a victim. You partook of all of this stuff.
You took part of the murder. You also have blood on your hands, boo.
Yeah, and for me at this point, I don't want to see any more of your catfish friend victims. I really don't.
But my thing is also
hear about it, Mary. It's been 2 years.
My thing is with Meri, right?
Yeah.
That bird is so beautiful. It's like bright blue. Did you see it? It's right over there on that the ledge.
On the wall?
Yeah.
You know, I have my glasses on. Your eyes are so amazing. I have my glasses on and I can't see the color of it.
Yeah. Well, when it
I
flies
know
again.
There's something there. But
yeah.
I can't see the color.
My thing with Meri is that at first I was really on Mariah when this whole catfish thing came out. I was like, you need to be a little nicer, forgiving. Like, I really thought that she was just going so hard on her mother. But I honestly see now, because at the end of the day, yes, this catfish thing happened to her, but I always say you can't control what somebody else does, but you can control what you do.
Exactly.
Meri, you decide to be in this polygamous lifestyle.
Yeah.
Your husband's not treating you right. Kody's dead wrong. I still think he's 60% at fault. Yeah. But also, if that's the issue, divorce is there because it's not by force. Y'all ain't in the cult. That's what y'all say.
Yeah.
So you could have divorced him, or you could have told him this is where I'm at. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you also were online. You sought they sought you or whatever, but you also partook in it. I'm sure the story is very extensive, more than what we know, which I think is only 5%.
Absolutely.
So I feel like you really went into it. You're there on the phone. Oh my God, Mariah, talk to my guy. He wants to get to know you. All this stuff. Inappropriate. Like, inappropriate. You are a married woman. You have a child.
Yes.
And I feel like that really went bone. I really do believe that it had a serious effect on Mariah. Yeah. Because up until today, she is still, like, if she talks about it, she wants to cry. She's very emotional about it. And she has just decided that I want to bury it.
Yeah, and
she also was not clued into how horrible your relationship was. Yeah. So she also is not really seeing the full spectrum of it.
She probably was covering for him. It's kind of like,
Meri. I mean, wives always cover for their husbands, even if they're doing some dirty stuff. Yeah, they always cover them. Like, I mean, you didn't tell us what was going on with Umar for the longest time.
Well, until
I feel like when I was older.
Yourself.
Yeah,
also.
I mean, it was when y'all got married the second time. Then I was like, oh, so this is him for real?
I had kind of sold a fairy tale. It's just like, it just didn't work out and stuff.
Which I didn't really believe it because I was supposed to be eavesdropping.
You remember a couple of incidents.
Yeah, like some phone calls and stuff. Yeah. But, I mean, that's the thing or whatever. But my thing is, your hands were not clean.
We had to move to a shelter one time, so you remember that. Your brother doesn't remember that. He was younger.
That's why he was smiling at the wedding. I wasn't. But my thing is, your hands were not clean. And Mariah was really hurt about all that.
Yeah, she doesn't really know Meri's side of it. And
but also, you're not a victim, though, because you also did go for it. Like, there's just some mistakes you can't make.
And you for friends online, and you're married.
Even if you're depressed. Like, go see your family. Go do something else. But chit-chatting with somebody, him telling you, and then you're telling Janelle, oh, I was flattered. I was flattered when he was saying I love you.
Like,
you said that so proudly. And I was like, huh?
Yeah. And the other thing is, what I am not seeing, and the one thing I have, the problem
she has not apologized. She has not taken accountability either.
Yeah. We haven't seen their church. Like, even when they were in Utah. They have family church services, right?
Where Kody talks about
and
it.
Cody's
which I kind of have an issue with that.
So with
because isn't that how cults get people? The men sit there, they create their own little church. Yeah, but they manipulate the women. Yeah, but and they tell.
What happens with that? Sorry, let me just say.
No, go ahead.
What happens with that is that, like, she was struggling in the relationship, right? Mm-hmm. She can't even go to the church to talk to their imam or whatever the name of the person is in the church, to talk to them and seek counsels from even the sisters in the church.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because your church is at home and he's the one who's preaching the person you have problem with. You understand what I'm saying? So we haven't really seen that.
Yeah.
And he hasn't even led his children to that. Like, I don't see this man going to church. The church is at home.
I haven't even seen them having house church either.
You know what I'm saying? The church is a home. So I mean, these are the issues right there.
Yeah. It just says a really
So
bad
she can't
dynamic.
even go and talk to someone, and she can't even go and report him.
No.
Like when he is out of bounds, she can't go and report him to the minister or whatever they call the people, the powers of authority there in their church.
Mm-hmm.
She can't even go report. There's nowhere for her to go and report Kody
Yeah.
and let them call him to the carpet and say, this is not okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He is just going by, oh, well, some of my friends, they've been together for years and they don't have any intimacy. What friends?
He's talking about him and Meri.
Why don't you go and seek counsel?
And it might be,
Like,
why do you
have
think
them
that's
sought
okay
counsel.
to do, though?
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay.
Because he has church by himself with his family.
And he gets to dictate
is
what
the
he thinks is
preacher.
right.
Yeah, he is the preacher of the church.
That's my
He
issue.
is, it's like what Gabriel said. Like the slave, what did he call the father? Slave master, or
You
slave
said
driver.
the slave driver. I just have to go and do whatever
Yeah.
the slave driver tells me.
Yeah, and then that's the same thing with Garrison. When Garrison was trying to correct Solomon, remember? And Kody was like, I am the parents. I correct Solomon. And Garrison said,
God-like complex.
yeah, he was like, well, Dad controls it all and apparently knows it all. And that's why as time went on, the older children stopped coming to the church at home.
Because it's hypocritical.
Because there's no one to control you. You're not accountable for your bull crap at all. There's nowhere for the wives to go and report to you.
Nope.
To say, he's not doing right by us.
Yeah.
Please, I may not know the Book of Mormon, but you father, or whatever the name they call them, you father or imam or minister, you know the book. Could you please guide him in scripture to do better?
And he's not
It's
accountable.
not there, and it's not fair. It's so upsetting.
Yeah.
It's so it really is. It's very, very upsetting. And the first thing men do. I remember when I was with my ex. He also was, when he came back, I married him again. He was trying to do mosque at home. Remember? He'll be reading some stuff, and then the kids, they were used to going to the mosque out there, not here at home. I never did mosque at home.
But he always wanted
And
to
you guys
be
did not
some
want
head
to-
of. He always wanted to be a head of a mosque.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
But,
the
he
thing
never
is-
got that opportunity.
Yeah.
But because also I just did not respect him as a human being,
Well-
so I couldn't really even get with it.
Yeah. Well, also because you're doing things that are wrong.
That
The
are dead
children
wrong.
Are old enough to understand.
And see with the own eyeball.
Exactly. So that's my thing,
Yeah.
right? And the one thing men will do when they don't want to be accountable, but they are very
They try to mix it.
religious, the first thing they do is get you out of your church.
Let me get the book.
They get you out of your church, out of your mosque. They don't want to go there anymore. They want to do it at home. But there's no accountability
And
at all.
self-awareness.
And when you're having problems, you can't go, because I actually reported him a couple of times.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, but once, and I was, I was of that belief too, like, well, listen to whatever he says, obey your husband and this and that. But, we have to be more wise, especially when we're coming from this religious background, and don't allow your spouse to remove you from the church where you never go there.
But
All of a sudden, you're all having church at home. I mean, you can't even go and mix with other sisters, and your children mix with the other children of your
Yeah.
same belief system. Everything's happening at home, and kids, as they get older and that critical thinking sinks in, they're not gonna be jiving with that.
My thing also with the whole thing about obey your husband, it's not obey him regardless of anything and everything that he does. Like, as a woman, you have to make sure whatever man that you decide to marry, have a life with, it has to be somebody who you trust, who you know is a good person, who has all the qualities of being a good man, a good leader, a righteous person, and who is also self-aware, who can be accountable, and who also can check himself when he's wrong.
And as soon as he stops going to the mosque to listen to an authority figure,
and he stops being accountable, red flag.
Very red flag.
Yeah. And then as soon as he wants to stop being accountable for stuff, also red flag. So that whole thing is honestly just a mess as far as I'm concerned. So
just be aware, that's how it starts. Church at home. Mosque at home. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
And then okay. But so let's go back to Meri. So we're finished with Chrissy.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mariah, at least she sat down and listened to Chrissy. After that, they don't want to talk about it anymore. And guess what, Meri? I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I'm like, it's over with.
I'm done with your catfish. It's been how many seasons
And then also Mariah was like, it seemed like you're the victim. You're not the only victim in this, Meri. So please stop meeting up with catfish victims. My thing is, the reason why she's still talking about this because she really, really loved the guy. That's what I'm getting. Because my thing, I feel like she was in love with him. She was thinking this was her new future, her new forever person, and she got bamboozled. Yes. And she is still having a lot of trauma with that. Yeah. That's why she's still talking about catfish stuff. Yeah. Me personally, if I will get loaded therapy, get my healing, but you will not see my ass on TV with a new catfish victim every single week. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Like, can we bury this? Like, can we never remember this ever again?
I know, yeah.
But I'll be going to therapy off camera.
Yeah.
Foolishness.
Yeah, you can't continue into this. But Meri has finally got to, where were we about this with her loan?
I think she got approved for the second part of her loan from the bank.
She did
get so she doesn't have to come with the other $40,000 to make the $80,000.
Right. Yeah. So they accepted the $40,000.
And I think she went and told the family what was going on.
Well, Janelle found out in some amusement parks.
But you told me that she actually told Robin first at an amusement park, and then Robin called Kody.
Vacation.
Yeah.
No, Robin didn't call Kody. She called Kody the day that she was going to close to ask him if he can help her drive down with some of her grandmother's stuff. And he said no. His schedule is not going to permit him. And he didn't tell anybody else. And when the family went on vacation after they did the closing and she signed the papers and the thing was hers, she came back home and they were getting ready to go on vacation to California.
Yeah.
While they were in California, she told Robin that she got this house. Robin didn't tell anyone, but someone in California saw Janelle and says, "Hey, Meri, she's going to be our neighbor now. She is there at that house and the mother has moved in." And Janelle was like, "What?" So she goes to Christine.
That's embarrassing.
And asks Christine, "Hey, did you know about that?" And Christine said no. She said, "Well, do you think we should just call Meri and just talk to her one-on-one?" And Christine was like, "No, let's call the entire family." So they called Kody.
See, what's going on, Christine?
I don't know, Christine. She is trying so hard to not like the person Kody doesn't like and to love the person he loves, like Robin. But anyhow, they called the family, and Robin is all like, "I'm so hurt because I was so invested, and you didn't call me to the closing." I mean, all of a sudden, Meri now is crying because all of them are feeling sad about this. And Christine's like, something that should be so beautiful, it now has a sad theme because you didn't tell us. And Meri was just like, I didn't have time to tell anybody because I went to the amusement park. I mean, I really didn't believe I married because you did tell Robin. But anywho, they took her around in this spinning cycle.
To make her cry again.
Made her feel like crap. I mean, really, Janelle was the only one who was like, "Well, Meri, it's fine. I'm just happy you closed. I feel like we should do something." So they all decided that for her grand opening, when she has a grand opening, they all decided that the whole family will go down.
Okay.
So they told the family, everybody toasted her to family destiny. And Kody was like, as he left, "I'm proud of you, Meri. I'm proud of you." I'm like, you can just keep at this point, I don't believe a word he says to Meri. I think he's
very jealous. He's very envious. And he honestly is not happy for her.
I know.
He is seeing her get independent, and he doesn't want that.
Yes.
Because he's like, she's in a good place. Instead of her being broken down and sad, pining over me, she's here having success.
Yes, and then he says in the confessional, he's like, you know something? If Meri wouldn't have been as successful if we had helped her. But because we didn't help her, guess what? She achieved success.
She would have had success with y'all helping her and without. But I feel like God ordained it to be where she did not go and get help from them. Because he wanted her to really let this be about her family. Because I'm sure God knew that if she had included the Brown family, it would have been Wahala for her family.
I know. Yeah.
So he said, no, Meri, you don't have to work for this money.
Yeah.
Let's do it through the loan.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all yours. Don't put them as equity partners. That's why it worked out the way it did.
Yeah.
So God's hands really was in it.
It was. And then she said so. She said she feels like the way she got this place and all the stuff that happened, she really felt like she was meant to have this back in the family, and she really felt God's hand in it. So I thought that was very beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I was very happy for Meri.
Yeah, so that was it for episode 2.
Yes, y'all, but it's Meri.
And
be right to like,
subscribe,
share,
and comment
down below.